Hello there my friends, you're listening to Ebird Online and I'm back with another review. And today I woke up in a somewhat benevolent mood and I thought I'd give somebody the benefit of the doubt. I do it so rarely these days that I thought I'll give it a whirl and see how it goes. I won't be back. As you may have gathered by now, I'm talking not about Brandon and Julia, but about Betty and Ron. And I'd like Betty and Ron to explain to the class how exactly they want the best for these kids. A little something slipped out in this week's episode that literally had my blood boiling. Although it has to be said, the eBird's blood does boil at about 99 degrees Fahrenheit, but hey ho. So I'm going to give you all of this week's roundup from Richmond. Just before I do, I'd like to say thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed to me just recently. And as you know, I'm covering UK Love Island, so thank you to all the Brits that are newly on my channel. And also a massive thank you to everyone who contributes with your comments and your points of view. I do try and read as many as I can. And it's always a fun time down there, so feel free to drop your view at any point. Also, if you've yet to do so, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Right, so without further ado, I give you Brandon, Julia, Ron and Betty. So we start off and we see these two newlyweds and they're driving along in the car. And they're told production excitedly that they've actually put a deposit on a new apartment and they're imminently going to be moving out. And I think I can speak for everybody when I say that for Julia's sanity, it's not 1 second before time. And so they're on the way to the apartment now. They're going to meet up with parents Ron and Betty, but unfortunately for poor old Ron and Betty, their world is about to be shattered. And I have to admit, it's not great for the rest of us either. It was nice knowing that all the awful people were in one easily avoidable place. Now they're just spreading themselves around. But hey ho. But Ron and Betty think they're just going to simply view the apartment. And even at that, Betty said, I'm really surprised. I knew that they were talking about moving out, but I didn't think they were ready to view apartments. But little does she know, they're not just going to be viewing the apartment, they're going to show them the apartment that they've signed the lease on and will be moving into in just 2 weeks. So it didn't take too long to get Ron and Betty around to saying, these kids aren't ready to move out. They don't know what they're doing. They've got a lot to learn yet. And Ron said, they're not at all prepared. And Betty said they'll be so shocked at how much everything costs, as opposed to living here on the farm for free. And yes, that's right, you got it. The eBird's still banging on about them making them work for nothing. They are not living for free if they have to work for you for nothing. They are in essence paying rent. Your farm isn't household chores or a bit of gardening to help out and keep the place tidy. It's an actual business from which you make money. It's a going concern. It's employment, Betty. Betty, Ron, you're running a workhouse. And I know you've heard all this before from me, but now Brandon and Julia are actually married and they want to start a family in the future and stand on their own 2 feet. You would at least think they would be encouraged by Betty and Ron. I remember Ron screaming, no, 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 6 or 7 months ago before they got married when they said they wanted to move out, and he said, do it the right way. Wait until you get married, wait until Julia gets her green card, and then you move out. Well, Ron, they waited and waited, and today's the day. I've done it as you said, the right way, and I'm now moving out. Now get out of my way. And so they all arrive at the apartment, and they walk in, and Betty says, ooh, interesting. It smells brand new, and you can see it is brand new, all freshly plastered walls, new laminate flooring and skirting boards, and it even looks like a new kitchen. And Ron said, is this the kitchen? Well, let's survey the facts, shall we? There's a worktop, there's an oven, there's a hob, there's a kitchen sink, there are kitchen taps, and there are kitchen cupboards. What are we thinking, Ron? What are we thinking? Yeah, that's right, it's a bloody kitchen. Oh, the living room and the kitchen are together. It's all in one. Oh, Ron, Rachel and Ross's apartment in Friends was all in one, and they were on £1 million an episode each. So put that in your pipe and smoke it, Ron. And Betty's walking around with her nose slightly turned up and an inane grin on her face. Betty, you've got a yard sale inside of your house. What's the bloody problem? There's only 2 of them, they're both nice and thin. And then Betty walked into the bedroom. And Betty said, is this the bedroom? Yes, Betty, it's the bedroom. It's very small. I don't think you could even fit a bed and a dresser in here. And I can see at the back of the bedroom a big walk-in wardrobe. And you can certainly fit a double bed in there. I doubt Brandon owns much, and Julia's just got the contents of a suitcase, so I think they'll be okay, thanks Betty. But she wasn't letting up. She said it's so small, especially when you compare it to 10 acres like our farm. Betty, do you live on all 10 acres? Do you live out in the cowshed, do you? Do you live on the fields of an evening? No, you don't. You live in the house. And like I said before, your house resembles a jumble sale. And they went back into the living room, and then Ron said, oh, well, out of the window it's just a wall, and if you look out of the other window, it's just a wall as well. There are no windows. Well, there are windows, Ron, because as you've just pointed out, you're looking through them. Although I must concede, I can't believe the windows are facing a brick wall. But anyway, I don't know where to go with that one, guys. I'm really trying to bat for you, Brandon and Julia, but you're making it very difficult. Why have you chosen somewhere with no view? That part, I've got to agree with Ron and Betty. It's kind of stupid. And as I said last week, I went house hunting in Richmond to look for apartments for these two, and I found some really nice apartments, all for around $1,000 a month, and all of those had windows with an actual view. So I'd be extremely interested to hear how much this apartment was. I really hope it wasn't anything over $900 a month. And so when they'd finished looking around, Brandon said, well, what do you think? Do you like it? And Ron said, well, there are no windows. You're looking straight into a brick wall. And Betty said, you're on the 6th floor and there's no fire escape. And with a flourish, Brandon said, well, it's our flat now. We signed a lease. And Ron said, really? You signed it already? Oh my God. And back with production, Betty and Ron were moaning away. But this is what really got my goat. The main thing they were moaning about is they said, I wish they'd have let us have our say on the apartment because we would have helped them. We would have given them pointers. They couldn't because you worked against them at all times. You didn't want them to move. You knew that might result in you having to pay an employee. You would have thwarted their every step. And then Ron said, we own several houses. What? Really? So if you own houses, why don't you let Brandon and Julia live in one? If they're too far away, why don't you sell them and buy one for them closer? I think this one statement shatters their defence that they're only doing what's best for Brandon and Julia. They're doing what's best for Betty and Ron, like they always do. And as if to back everything up that I've just said, Betty actually said, I had hoped that I'd be gaining a daughter-in-law and not losing a son, but it remains to be seen now. So in other words, she just wanted another free worker on her farm. And Ron then said, Julia's manipulated him into moving out. He would never have done this on his own. No, what you mean, Ron, is that you and Betty previously manipulated him, and now he's got a new gangmaster. Bad luck. Julia's given him a little something that you two can't provide. And so Betty said, how long is it until you move in? And Brandon said 2 weeks. And she said 2 weeks? Oh my God. It would be nice to have some notice. Notice? Let's think about that statement, notice. You would only need notice on a property if the person needed to know, when do I need to get the room ready to rent it out to somebody else? Clearly they don't have any plan to do that. So notice can only mean for their employment, for the job that you reckon is just helping out around the house. The only reason that you need more notice, which I admit you do need more of, is because you need to employ someone to actually take over all of the jobs that Julia does or Brandon does. Proof, if ever I needed it, that it's an actual job. And Betty said, oh no, we're going to have to do all the work on our own again. Oh well, we've done it before. Have you, Betty? I bet that was when you were 28 years younger though, wasn't it? Never mind, Betty, it's all easy. And there's not that much to do. You said so yourself to Julia. Oh dear, Betty. We've got you banged to rights. Although, the Ebird's got a plan. Why don't you get close family friend Aspen to take a few days off from her intensive cat farming and get her to feed your animals? But Brandon was still feeling really bad about things, and he said to production, I wish we could have given them more notice, but Julia was just so eager to leave the farm of broken dreams. I feel really conflicted, and as usual, I'm in the middle. Now my parents have no one to work on their farm. And that's where we leave things for this week. So what does the Ebird make from all of this? Well, I think my feelings are pretty clear on Betty and Ron's treatment of Julia and Brandon. Okay, fair enough for those of you who are going to say, they're living there for free, so they may as well work. Fine. We'd rather just not live here. We'll earn our own money and spend it in the way that we want and be the masters of our own home. But Betty and Ron didn't want that. Why didn't they want it? It wasn't because they were worried that Brandon can't cope on his own. I moved out of home when I was 16 years of age and I was absolutely fine. I've never been back. It's not that difficult moving out of home. It's not that difficult feeding yourself and clothing yourself. It really isn't. They know that Brandon has a full-time job and in fact a career, and has also been working hard to pay off his debts and pay down his credit cards. just so that this can actually happen. Betty and Ron are well aware that everybody else moves out of home probably in their late teens when they go to university or early 20s. Most people are actually out of the house by 28, and so it really isn't that strange a scenario. And another thing I didn't like from Betty and Ron, which I predicted would happen last week or the week before, when they said they'd actually signed the lease, Ron said, "Oh well, you're on your own then, you're all on your own." So in other words, if you're not working for us for free and living under our feet and living by our rules every second of the day, then we'll give you absolutely no help. Now who knows if that's actually true, but it's really not a very nice thing to say. Why not say, well, congratulations, I wouldn't have chosen this apartment, but you know, it's only a year's contract, so it's not the end of the world. I hope you enjoy it, and yeah, anything we can do to help, let me know. Why not be that person, Betty? Why not be that man, Ron? And you knew they wanted to move out, so as for you saying, oh, they should have asked us what we should be looking for and asked advice, why didn't you just give advice when they said they wanted to find somewhere? Why didn't you start giving them advice then? Because you didn't want them to move. So guys, let me know what you think. Are you absolutely sick and tired of their attitude? I know I certainly am. Betty and Ron are the most interesting thing in this quartet, I will admit, but their sense of entitlement knows no bounds. Your child does not owe you their life, and you shouldn't pretend to them that they do. If it's such a bad idea for him to move out, and it's so terrible, you know he'll be back before soon anyway, so then why worry? The main reason that you're worried is that you know once he moves out, he'll never be back. So guys, let me know your thoughts in comments down below, and I'll get on with my next video. Please don't forget to subscribe if you've yet to do so. Make Ebird a happy Ebird, and you can also follow me on Twitter at Ebird Online. Thank you guys so much for listening. You've been listening to Ebird Online, and I bid you good day.